we know that atheists think a different way, and for the most part, their entire trend is a demonstration of rebellion against organized religion. This is for people that are open-minded enough. I would consider them the seekers of truth. Now, having said that, I could say that about the concept of God. I could say that about the concept of good, the concept of destiny, the concept of heaven, the concept of Christ, the Messiah, the concept of the prophets. So, getting back to faith as being one of those very important things in our reality. Of course, it can't be taken out of context, because faith doesn't exist without human free will. It doesn't have to be at odds with free will and choice. It actually works in harmony with that force. I think the idea of free will and choice is more simple to deal with than this idea of faith. That means you're presented with a number of obvious possibilities, and you make a choice, either chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry ice cream, swirled together. I'm taking a break to kind of new look, which I very much appreciate, from that when you've made a choice, you have confidence that it's going to come out all right. Faith means that you have peace of mind that everything ultimately is in balance. Everything is according to the bigger plan, the divine plan. Faith is applied to a lot of things that we can't see. So it's a very spiritual-oriented concept. Now, spirit is also a very important thing to define, because people usually think of spirituality as something that the individual practices, especially when they leave religion. It's used as the antidote for religion, because many people are looking for better answers to their questions about the mystery of God or the mystery of existence, deeper meaning of their experience. So if they can't find it going to any one of the religious groups or congregations, then they go on a self-guided journey, and that's called spirituality. So the core of that is spirit. In general, that means spirit is an invisible force within reality. We can't prove it by modern science, but nonetheless, it is scientific. There's a logic to it. There's a scientific method that you can use to prove to yourself that spirit or spiritual energies are at work, regardless of the cut and dry answers that some religions may give you. That's not sufficient to the inquiring minds of today. So what happens is we look for spiritual proof. Not only is spirit an energy, but spirit is a consciousness. I look at God as the great. Many of the native, indigenous, tribal religions would conceive of a creator. They believe in that creator, and that is transliterated as a great spirit. Every nation has their roots in a spiritual science, or call it a religion, either way you want to look at it. And this is how they've come to terms with the deeper questions about life. So Now that I kind of touched upon spirit, we're going to get back to faith. Faith is this thing that just puts your entire, or at least your mind, at ease. It means whenever something's going on in life, faith is going to take care of it. Faith enables you to find a long-term purpose for your life. Without faith, there wouldn't be any vision. It's entirely connected with future plans of inspiration. There's no such thing as being inspired to do something and be ambitious to try to affect the world without faith. Nobody does that unless they have faith to believe in themselves. Now, they have a problem with some words, as I think a lot of different people would have a problem with the words and how they're defined and how they're practiced. And that's why I'm doing this video, just to attempt to do an explanation. People do things based on a spiritual energy that's influencing them, but they were refrained from using a word like faith because faith somehow has a connotation that connects it with religion, the religions that those people reject, the religions that they fight against. But what I'm saying here is that faith has a denotation, and it denotes something that is not owned and not limited by any religion or any people. In fact, it can be quite generic, almost like the term God itself. G-O-D, God, is not really what anyone calls the force above them, the higher power. That's a new thing that came about in the English language. It's not through any prophet. It's just merely... Sorry, the video just cut out. I was saying about God, the word is a generic word, and it's not even a name. Instead of God, I would rather use the term Krishna or Yahweh, which is an abbreviation of the full name. It's an acronym. Or I would use the term Christ, or another example, Zeus. Not that many people use Zeus. It's a dead religion, or an archaic one. Faith could be an aspect of God, because without faith being applied through your life and through your thoughts, you wouldn't get to God. So it's quite obvious why atheists would attack the whole practice of faith. But as I've tried to explain here, having a life without faith, or having your actions without faith, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It would be better not to have a life at all if you didn't put any faith into it. Now, I could explore this subject in another video.
Yeah, but I think I've said enough for now, and I'd like to hear what you have to say. Maybe somebody can be more articulate, or bring more color to it, more flavor. Maybe you can give us some specific examples of faith, or how it was demonstrated to you. How did you feel it in action? Yeah, so thanks for listening.
We know that atheists think a different way, and for the most part,